Hi, my mariners and my fans. Here's to another videos about COLREG 72. So this time I make the topic more focused on rule 13 to 19. So hopefully it will help. If you have any questions, có câu hỏi gì nhớ comment ở dưới cho Phương Anh biết. Like, share the video because I love you guys. Do that for me. COLREG 72, Rule 13 to Rule 19. Rule 13, overtaking. Overtaking. A. Notwithstanding anything contains in the rule of Part B. Section 1 and 2. Any vessels overtaking any other shall keep out of the way of the vessels. B. A vessel shall be deemed to be overtaken when coming up with another vessel from a direction more than 22.5 degrees above her beam. That is such reference to the vessel she is overtaken that at night she would be able to see the stern light of that vessel, but neither of her side lights. C. When a vessel is in any doubt as to whether she is overtaking another, she shall assume that this is the case and act accordingly. D. Any subsequent alteration of the bearing between the two vessels shall not make the overtaken vessel a crossing vessel within the meaning of these rules, or relieve her of the duty of keeping clear of the overtaking vessel until she is finally past and clear. Rule 14, head-on situation. Alright. A. When two power-driven vessels are meeting on reciprocal or nearly reciprocal courses, so as involve risk of collision, each alter her course to starboard so that each shall pass on the port side of the other. B. Such a situation shall be deemed to exist when a vessel see the other ahead or nearly ahead, and by night she could see the masthead lights of the other in a line or nearly in a line, and or both side lights, and by day she observes the corresponding aspect of the other vessel corresponding. C. When a vessel is in any doubt as to whether such a situation exists, she shall assume that it does exist and act accordingly. Rule 15, crossing situation. When two power-driven vessels are crossing so as to involve risk of collision, the vessel which has the other on her own starboard side, shall keep out of the way, and shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, avoid crossing ahead of the other vessel. Rule number 16. Every vessel which is directed to keep out of the way of another vessel shall, so far as possible, take early and substantial action to keep well clear. Rule number 17. Action by stand on vessel. A1. Where one of the two vessels is to keep out of the way, the other shall keep her course and speed. A2. The later vessel may, however, take action to avoid collision by her maneuver alone as soon as it becomes apparent rõ ràng to her that the vessel required to keep out of way is nothing appropriate action in compliance with these rules. B. 17b. When from any cause the vessels required to keep her course and speed finds herself so close that collisions cannot be avoided by the action of the give-way vessel alone, she shall take actions as best aid to avoid collision. C. 17c. A power-driven vessel which take action in a crossing situation in accordance with subparagraph of this rule to avoid collision with another power-driven vessel shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, no alter course to port for a vessel on her own port side. (17d) This rule does not relieve the give-way vessel of the obligation to keep out of the way. Rule 18. Responsibilities between vessels. A. A power-driven vessel under way shall keep out of the way. A1. A vessel not under command. 2. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. A3. A vessel engaged in fishing. Number 4. Sailing vessel. B. A sailing vessel under way shall keep out of the way of (1) A vessel not under command. A vessel 2. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. 3. A vessel engaged in fishing. C. A vessel engaged in fishing when underway shall, as far as possible, keep out of the way. C1. A vessel not under command. A vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver. D. 18d. Actually, D1. Any vessel other than a vessel not under command, or a vessel restricted in her ability to maneuver, shall, if the circumstance of the case admit, avoid impeding the safe passage of a vessel constrained by the drought, exhibiting the signal in Rule 28. Alright, D2. A vessel constrained by her drought shall navigate with particular caution, having full regard to her special condition. 18E. 18E. A seaplane on the water shall, in general, keep well clear of all vessels and avoid impeding their navigation. In circumstance, however, where risk of collision exists, she shall comply with the rules of this part. 18F1. A Whitcraft shall, when taking off, landing, and in a flight near the surface, keep clear of all other vessels and avoid impeding their navigation. Section 3. Conduct of vessels in restricted visibility. Rule 19. Conduct of vessels in restricted visibility. A. This rule applies to vessels not in sight of one another when navigations in or near an area of restricted visibility. B. Every vessel shall proceed at a safe speed adapted to the prevailing circumstances and conditions of restricted visibility. A power-driven vessel shall have her engine ready for immediate maneuver. C. Every vessel shall due regard to the prevailing circumstances and conditions of restricted visibility when comply with the rule of Section 1 of this part. Section D. A vessel which detects by radar alone the presence of other vessels shall determine if a close quarter situation is developing and or risk of collisions exists. If so, she shall take avoiding action in ample time, provided that when such action consists of an alteration of course, so far as possible, the following should be avoided. D1. An alteration of course to port for a vessel forward of the beam, other than for a vessel being overtaken. D2. An alteration of course towards a vessel, abeam or above the beam. (19E) Except where it has been determined that a risk of collision does not exist. every vessel which hears apparently forward of her beam the fog signal of other vessel, or which cannot avoid a close quarters situation with another vessel forward of her beam, shall reduce her speed to the minimum at which she can be kept on her course. She shall, if necessary, take all her way, and in any event, navigate with extreme caution until danger of collision is over. Yay, 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 yay. Alright, so thank you to all my mariners, my fams, for your being very patient with me. Thank you for following and watching the videos. I love you all. I will see you next time with more informational videos. Love y'all. Bye bye. Bye for now.